Welcome kapatid to our series on how to answer law school and bar problems. Today we are taking a look at a problem from the 2022 bar exam. I'll be showing you precisely how to answer a problem, how to be responsive to a problem, and how you can also arrive at an elegant and precise answer all on your own. All of this and more coming right up. Hi, my name is Lex and welcome to Lex in Motion. In this channel, I'll be helping you build your competence, confidence, and capability in law school. Start today by hitting the subscribe button below. New episodes are posted every Friday. Without further ado, let us now begin with a problem from the 2022 bar examination. I'll be showing it on your screen right now. The first step in answering every problem is to take a deep breath. Find a way to calm yourself down. Don't look at the problem, don't look at your screen. Ipikit mo ang iyong mga mata kapatid at huminga ka lang muna ng malalim. The second step is to take another deep breath. As you exhale, know and understand that however way you're going to answer this next problem really is not going to matter. Tuldok lang ito kapatid. It is a dot, a speck, minutiae in the great grand story of your law school journey. And as you exhale, envision yourself passing your exam, passing the bar exam, taking the oath and what you'll be wearing on your roll signing. Now, you are ready to look at the problem. The third step is to read the last sentence, then the second to the last sentence, and then the two sentences together. If what you see at the end of the problem are phrases like explain briefly or discuss fully, feel free to include these with the last sentence. We do this, kapatid, in order for us to zero in on the problem. We can only be responsive if we know exactly what is being asked. We skip ahead to the last sentence because this is where the question is usually found. Remember, we can only be responsive if we know exactly what is being asked. Let's look at the last sentence of the problem. Who among Bern, Czarina, Donnabel, and Justine, if any, are liable for the crime of cyberlibel? Explain briefly. Let's read the second to the last sentence of the problem for more clues. Finding it relevant to her advocacy and crusade, Justine shared the link to Bern's post on her Twitter account. These two sentences together should automatically trigger in your head the crime of cyberlibel. It is actually a combination of the crime of libel that is committed with the use of any computer system. The fourth step is for us to identify what is being asked in this problem. This is your guiding star. Ito at ito lang talaga ang maaari nating mabalikan kung sakaling tayo ay nalunod na sa mga facts at arguments ng ating examiner. What is being asked in this problem? Here, the examiner is asking us to determine who among the four actors, Bern, Czarina, Donnabel, and Justine, are liable specifically of the crime of cyberlibel. Then we are being asked to give a short explanation. The next step is for us to identify the rule, concept, provision, or doctrine that is being asked in the problem. The master key to being hyper-responsive is by identifying the exact rule, provision, concept, or doctrine upon which the examiner has built the problem. If we can reverse engineer how the problem was drafted in the first place, then it gives us the fighting chance to give the precise answer that the examiner is looking for. Dito sa problem na ito kapatid, ano kaya ang sinusubukan sa atin ng ating examiner? What is the rule, concept, provision, or doctrine that is being tested in this problem? If what is being tested is still unclear to you based only on the last two sentences, then feel free to come back to this after the next step. The next step now, kapatid, is for us to read the problem from start to finish. We will look for bits and pieces, anything really, that will help us answer the question. We will go over the problem line by line and look for clues that might help us give to the examiner the answer he or she wants. If you see an actor, mark it. If you see the actor's action, mark it. If you think something might be relevant, then mark it. All others we can safely ignore as noise. I hope I'm still making sense so far. Let's begin reading the problem from start to finish. During the 2022 national elections, Bern posted on her Facebook page a statement that Alfredo, an incumbent mayor vying for re-election, has a pending corruption case with the Sandigan Bayan for pocketing 20 million pesos of public funds under his custody. Czarina, Bern's friend, saw the post and commented online stating, "Be true yan, Alfredo is so corrupt, marami ding binabahay yan, sugarol pa." Donnabel, also Bern's friend, reacted to Bern's post by clicking the like button. Another person, Justine, who is a stranger to Bern and her friends, but who claims to be a crusader for good governance, came across the said post. Finding it relevant to her advocacy and crusade, Justine shared the link to Bern's post on her Twitter account. In the first line of the problem, the examiner is introducing us to Bern. Her action was to post on her Facebook page a statement involving Alfredo. Alfredo here is the present mayor and is seeking re-election. In this statement, Bern says that Alfredo has a pending case before the Sandigan Bayan where Alfredo was charged with taking 20 million pesos for himself. In the second line of the problem, the examiner is introducing us to Czarina, a friend of Bern. Her action is to post a comment on the original post where she said that the case is true. Alfredo is corrupt, Alfredo is a womanizer, and Alfredo is a gambler. I hope I am making sense so far. Next, the examiner gives us two more actors. The action of Donnabel, a mutual friend of Bern, was to hit the like button. Baka parang ikaw kapatid, kung may natututunan ka sa lesson natin ngayon, i-like mo tong video na to. The final actor is Justine, who claims to be a crusader for good governance. Her action was to share the link to the original post via her Twitter account. In the next paragraph, the examiner asks us who among them should be liable for the crime of cyberlibel. After marking our paragraph, it should look like this. Knowing what you now know about the problem, please pause this video and type up your answers in the comment section. This is the only way for me to gauge your answers and I will try to respond as best as I can. Libre dito ang magkamali kapatid. Hindi mo ito ikakabagsak dahil hindi mo ako professor at hindi rin kita estudyante. Huwag kang matatakot na magkakamali dito kapatid kung ikakatama mo naman sa iyong quiz at midterms o maging iyong bar exam. This problem, kapatid, is a good illustration of the technique I call blending. Blending is a technique used by examiners to confuse and confound students. It is especially effective against those of us who have a very strong tendency to overthink. Blending is the process of hiding bits and pieces of the problem in plain sight. Through various words and phrases, the examiner is able to camouflage the rule, concept, provision, or doctrine that is actually being tested in the problem. Sa blending na itatago ng examiner ang isang maliit na detalye na kung ating susumahin ay siya namang trigger ng isang rule, isang exception, or anything really that could make our answers wrong. Blending usually works best when it is part of the first question. First questions, as I have discussed, are usually long and convoluted. Sometimes they are understated and cause us to needlessly overthink our own answers. Here, the examiner has carefully blended bits and pieces, which, if we fail to spot, could land us on the incorrect answers. Let us begin by first understanding what the crime of libel means. Article 353 of the Revised Penal Code provides that libel is a public and malicious imputation of a crime or of a vice or defect, real or imaginary, or any act, omission, condition, status, or circumstance tending to cause the dishonor, discredit, or contempt of a natural or juridical person or to blacken the memory of one who is dead. Article 360 of the Revised Penal Code tells us who may be liable for libel. Any person who shall publish, exhibit, or cause the publication or exhibition of any defamation in writing or by similar means shall be responsible for the same. However, Article 354 provides exceptions when statements are not libelous. Paragraph 2 provides that a fair and true report made in good faith without any comments or remarks of any judicial, legislative, or other official proceedings which are not of confidential nature or of any statement, report, or speech delivered in said proceedings or of any other act performed by public officers in the exercise of their functions. Here it appears that only Czarina is actually liable for cyberlibel. She commented that Alfredo is corrupt, a womanizer, and a gambler. All three things have a tendency to discredit Alfredo, who was then the incumbent mayor seeking re-election. The element of publicity is satisfied because this was posted on social media. Bern's post, the original post, does not appear to be libelous because it was a factual statement or report without any comment or insinuation that it is true. She merely stated that Alfredo has been charged with pocketing 20 million pesos of public funds which have been under his custody. Donnabel, on the other hand, has incurred no criminal liability because an act is not a crime until and unless there is some very specific provision of the law that defines the act as a crime. Nowhere in our laws on libel and cyberlibel can we find that reacting to a potentially libelous statement is punished as a crime. The principle here is nullum crimen, nullum pena sine lege. The same principle applies as against Justine. Here what she shared was not a libelous statement and that we have no crime that defines the sharing of content as part of cyberlibel. We begin our suggested answer with only Czarina is liable for the crime of cyberlibel because she made a public imputation of a crime and vices against Alfredo through social media. Notice, kapatid, that we began our suggested answer with in this problem. Masakit sa mata ang mabasa ang in the case at bar dahil wala naman tayo sa korte at ito ay isang academic exercise. Hindi mo yun ikinakatalino, kapatid. Pwedeng-pwede na rin kami sa here, dahil madali lang itong dot-dotin sa iyong keyboard. I hope I'm still making sense. Next, we need to write our legal basis. The law does not require that you cite the entire provision of the law. All that matters is you write the most relevant portions of the law. Under our criminal laws, libel is the public and malicious imputation of a crime, vice, or defect that tends to cause the dishonor, discredit, or contempt of any person. When such crime is committed through a computer system, it is cyberlibel. Notice, kapatid, that I have used the precise language of the law. The law demands precision in everything we do. However, I have taken the liberty of not writing the entirety of the provision. Doon lang tayo sa relevant, mahalaga, at magagamit natin sa susunod na paragraph. Our next line is our most important paragraph, our arguments. This is where you have to argue. Ilaban mo yan, kapatid. You cannot parrot back to the examiner the facts that he or she has written down. Wala siyang paki dito, kapatid, dahil siya ang nagsulat ng problem. Malamang sa malamang ay alam din naman niya ang kwento nito. In this next line, we have to tell the examiner why we have taken this position and why we have chosen this legal basis. We have to give back to the examiner what he or she needs. It's our chance to say, I see what you did there. We do this by arguing why we are correct. In effect, we need to sell to the examiner why we are correct. You can land at the correct answer, kapatid, pero kung hindi mo naman ito maibebenta, kung hindi mo naman makukumbinsi ang examiner na tama ka, ay wala ka na rin pinagkaiba sa ilang libong sagot na dadaan lang sa kanyang mga mata. We stand out by first being hyper-responsive to the problem, and second, through our eloquence. This begins by laying down the strongest argument. What is our strongest argument here? The strongest argument here is that Czarina's statements are libelous. We have an imputation of a crime and two defects. It was made in such a manner as to make it accessible to third persons. We also have to state why the other three actors are not liable for cyberlibel. Now, how do we say all of this in the simplest, most concise manner possible? In this problem, only Czarina is liable for cyberlibel because she publicly commented that Alfredo is corrupt, a womanizer, and a gambler. Bern is not liable because her post is a factual statement regarding Alfredo's case. Donnabel and Justine are also not liable because their acts are not punishable under cyberlibel. Notice kapatid that we began our suggested answer with in this problem. Masakit sa mata ang mabasa ang in the case at bar dahil wala naman tayo sa korte at ito ay isang academic exercise. Hindi mo yun ikinakatalino kapatid. Pwedeng-pwede na rin kami sa here, dahil madali lang itong dot-dotin sa iyong keyboard. I hope I'm still making sense so far. Next, you need to phrase your answer in the form of an argument. You are in law school because you are hoping that someday, one day, you will be a lawyer. At a certain point in your life, kapatid, you will be arguing for a living. Hindi ko naman sinasabi na maging palaaway ka, kapatid. Arguing means convincing your professor, your examiner, or the courts on the merits of your position. Arguing means selling your position and convincing your professor of the correctness of your answer. In your third paragraph, you need to argue. Hindi ka pwedeng umulit lang ng facts. Wala ka nang magiging kaibahan sa ilang libong booklet o answer sheet na dadaan lang sa mata ng mga examiner. Dapat kapag binasa ng professor mo ang sagot mo, masasabi niya na magiging abogada ang batang are. With our conclusion, the suggested answer should look like this. Only Czarina is liable for the crime of cyberlibel because she made a public imputation of a crime and vices against Alfredo through social media. Under our criminal laws, libel is the public and malicious imputation of a crime, vice or defect that tends to cause the dishonor, discredit, or contempt of any person. When such crime is committed through a computer system, it is cyberlibel. In this problem, only Czarina is liable for cyberlibel because she publicly commented that Alfredo is corrupt, a womanizer, and a gambler. Bern is not liable because her post is a factual statement regarding Alfredo's case. Donnabel and Justine are also not liable because their acts are not punishable under cyberlibel. For these reasons, only Czarina may be charged with cyberlibel. The worst mistake you can make in a conclusion is to simply repeat your opening statement. This would be a waste of your examiners or professors' precious time and attention. Marami ring hindi na lang nagsusulat ng conclusion dahil ayaw na lang nilang umulit lang ng first sentence. When you don't know what to write, focus on the fruits, effects, and results. Assuming that your answer is correct. Ano kaya ngayon? Salamat kapatid at sinamahan mo ako sa ilang minuto na tayo ay nagsagot ng isang bar exam problem. I will be doing my best to respond to all of your answers in the comments and give you timely feedback. Sana at kahit papano ay may natutunan ka. The means and methods I've discussed here are all contained in our digital workbook 8, 101 practice problems for lost law students and bar takers. Here you will be tasked with answering about 105 bar problems spread out in various bar subjects. All of the answers here are broken down, explained, and discussed in much greater detail than what we have done here. You will also learn about how examiners draft their problems, where questions come from, and how to predict with a reasonable degree of accuracy the problems that might come out in your midterm and final exams. In this workbook, I've also discussed the common tactics that professors use to confuse law students and baristas. At ano ang pwedeng pangontra sa mga tactics nila. Narito rin ang mga typical na mali ng mga law students sa kanilang mga sagot at kung paano natin ito gagamutin. Follow along the journey as we help you take your answers from miserable to elegante. Grab your copy of 8, 101 practice problems for lost law students and bar takers through the links in the description box below. If you would like to see more episodes on how to answer law school exams and bar problems, please let me know by typing yes in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. Like and share this video for good law school karma, and I will see you next Friday.